Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Okay, guys, welcome back, everybody. And I am joined by the one only Laura Fluke. Laura, how are you today?
Good morning, Casey. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's a little chilly here in Michigan and trying to get used to winter being here. I'm ready for it to be over, but hey.
you guys get it pretty bad over there, right? I mean, with the snow and everything.
I'm an old lady. I don't like it being cold. It's only 55 right now, and that might as well be below zero for me, honey.
Well, Laura, everyone knows you're an energy healer. But I don't really think most people, if you ask, knew what energy medicine, energy healing, what that really is. And it's a big part of what you do, among other things. I mean, you have a lot of different modalities you use, but maybe you can kind of just tell the audience, what is an energy healer?
So, it sounds a little, out there, but it's really, everything's energy. I mean, think about it. Your skin is less dense than your bones are, right? A freshly baked piece of bread is less dense than a rock, right? So, it's density and it's compression and it's all the stuff, right? So when we're working with things, we can tell that there's blockages in the energy centers in the body. So many of us know that to be, some of us know that to be the chakras. There's 7 of them. There's one that starts at your root, so kind of near your perineum, your genital area, that region,
like
right?
A pelvis area type.
Pelvis, right? Okay. And then you have number 2, which is the sacrum, and that's at the, just at where the lumbar spine and the tail, that part of your hips connect. Then we have the belly, and then we have the heart, we have the throat, we have the third eye, which is the pineal gland inside the brain. So it's a brain connection. And then we have the crown chakra. So those are areas of the body that we look at, and we can these are nerve centers. So this is where bundles of parts of who we are at, right? So you can think of this in anatomical ways, and then there's just, energy associated with that. Mm-hmm. So when, the same way that we can tell the density between a slice of bread and a rock, we can feel the density if we, hold that space around somebody's body or hold that intention to connect with their energy. So, for example, when I say to you, if somebody comes to me and says, boy, I really need prayer, or I could really use a hug, or, I just need to feel connected. And I know I'm going in a roundabout circle with this, but it's coming together.
Okay, no problem.
So when we think about energy and wanting to be present with somebody, we're sending our love, we're sending our intention to somebody. I mean, I could touch your right shoulder right now, and you would be able to feel me if we sat with that for a moment and intended that to, you would be able to sense me.
Really?
So
that's cool.
So all right, since we're here, do you want to try that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is where the density of energy doesn't matter. Okay. What matters is, holding this rock, it matters, right? You matter as I touch you, right? So we can go through that subtle energy field of just, earth and us and everything. And I can say to you, okay, Casey, is it okay if I put my right hand on your right shoulder?
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to I'm intending to place I don't have to, but I can even just for visual, I can say, okay, I'm kind of off to the side of you, and I have my right hand on your shoulder. And then I'm wondering if you can notice my presence there. And I'm coming a little bit.
A little bit warmer right here.
Right. So it's something what you're feeling in that moment is you're feeling something different. So not everyone's going to feel the same thing, right? Somebody may feel pressure, somebody may feel a tingle, you're feeling a temperature change.
Yeah.
So, with that, I'm here where you're at. We're talking through Zoom.
Yeah, right.
Right. And
that's
you're
all
noticing
energy.
something different about your shoulder. Now, if you want, I can go ahead. So my hand's on your shoulder and I can go ahead and put my other hand on your other shoulder and let's see if there's something different. So I'm using the hands as a visual for you.
Okay.
And then the something in this is, what are you noticing that may be different than it was before? I can come in with a little bit more.
Feeling somewhat, it's not uncomfortable, but just a little um, pressure, like weight
Okay. So I'll
on
lift up.
on the right.
Okay. So now I've moved off a little bit.
And there's a little heat coming this way.
Right. So now do you still feel that same pressure on your right shoulder?
No, no,
Right.
no, but it kind of moved over here a little bit.
Okay. Do you feel me on your left shoulder?
Yes, there's a heat over there now. Wow,
You
that's pretty
can,
neat.
all right.
Mr. Producer,
So
you
this
gotta check this out, man. That's pretty cool.
I love it. So I've taken my hands off. I'm just remove my hands.
And dude, for real, that was weird, man. You gotta. I mean, it's I'm just kind of floored. Like you can do this through
Through the airwaves, right?
yeah,
So think about it. When a boat passes, when a boat goes through the water, it creates a wake, right?
yeah,
So, it's the same thing as if I'm sending my love, my energy of love, my thoughts, my intention to you, and I'm sending this in a loving way, right? So
yeah,
I know the principles, my hands are trained to know the principles of going, okay, if I now focus in on you, I can matter doesn't matter in the moment, right? I can connect to your body until our energies connect in such a way that you feel it in your matter, in your body, right? So, why is this important that we know that we can do this in our bodies, right?
yeah,
So, think about when you're having a bad day, or you can feel the energy of any emotion when you walk into the room, right? So you can notice in the room that somebody was just arguing in. It's just me here, so there's nobody here, right? But
right. No, I know what
you
you
can,
mean.
I mean, you can walk into an office and go, oh well, they were upset, or you can notice the tension, or you can feel the passion between two people looking at each other in a bar or something,
Yeah,
right? So that's energy,
yeah,
right? And if that's dysregulated, or we need to balance it, and if we notice that the body is out of sync or is a little disrupted, or you just feel off kilter, you feel outside of your body, this is where we use, energy medicine to be able to connect to the body and go, okay, hey, what do you need? What do you need? You're feeling a little disrupted right now. Hi, body, how are you? And speaking with the body and regulating it, and, getting the nervous system to balance so that you have clarity of thought, or you have focus to be able to do life, or, something's coming up and you need to, maybe the scenario is unchangeable, but you need to find a way to go and, I can't change my situation. So how do I change what I'm feeling inside?
right,
Right.
right. Hey, Laura, hold that for 1 second because you got a caller online that has a question. Hey, caller, do I have you on the air with Laura Fluke?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, hey, hi, caller.
Hi.
Hi,
What's your name?
my name is Beth.
Hey, Beth, you got Laura. Do you have a question for Laura?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Hi, Beth.
I'm really stressed out lately, and I'm getting panic attacks.
Okay.
And I'm very skeptical about energy medicine, but I don't want to take any prescriptions. Do you have any suggestions?
Good question.
That is a great question. It is a great question. And, I would offer you, obviously honor those feelings about your concerns. And, but I can tell you, I am not a person who likes medicine either. And I try not to take it wherever I can. And I can tell you that I've used this modality to go and help anxiety and depression and things like that. And, I give me half a second to see what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
I am very interested in and very willing to go and connect with you to give you a connection and an understanding of this, so that you understand that it's not woojy, it's not weird. But I also have to, this is something new to me, being able to, I don't know, Casey, is this something that I can offer over the, can I do this with this person? You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I mean, if it's I guess you know, if they give you permission, isn't that how
Yes, I
it
didn't
works?
know if
I was
there's,
going to
okay,
ask if, because she's skeptical, I was going to wonder if that has any if that has any effect on the,
the reception of it.
yeah, like,
Yes, okay.
okay.
So then Beth, I guess maybe this is the thing, maybe this is a point for you to experience this yourself. So I mean, if you're willing, I am willing, and if you give me permission, I could do something very similar to what I did with Casey, and I could say, okay, is it all right if I hold your right hand?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna take your right hand and my left hand. And I'm sending, my thoughts, my intentions, and as you've been hearing, I'm sending love to you. And so then I'm going to ask you, if when you focus on your left hand, what do you notice that's different? Do you notice something that's different for you?
In my left hand?
Oh, I'm sorry, your right hand, right hand. I'm looking at my left hand. I apologize.
Um,
In your right hand. So we'd be holding hands like we were walking side by side.
I would say I feel like a little tingling.
Beautiful. Okay. So would you be okay if I added a little more pressure to see if it changes your sensation?
Okay.
Okay. And I just added on just a little bit more. So maybe I was doing, say, a quarter's worth. Maybe I'm doing a 50-cent piece worth of pressure. Do you notice that change?
Yeah, I want to say yes.
Okay. So, I mean, this is the very basics of it all, right? But it's once you feel this connection, right? That here I can sit with a person and say, okay, let's check in with your body. Where are you feeling that anxiety, or where do you feel those panic attacks? So in those moments, or during, maybe not during that scenario, or it's helpful in that scenario also to help you get grounded. We can say, okay, let's focus on your breath, let's drop in, and let's find your feet. And then we can move through, a guided exploration through your body, or a breathing exercise, or whatever is necessary in your system at that time. So like I said, if it's something that you would like to explore and have some more conversation again with, I would be more than happy, off air. We could, I'm open to answering questions however you want.
Laura,
So,
how does Beth get a hold of you?
well, I would say, go through the website, which is thequietroom808.com. I have an email connection. I also have my phone number on there, which is 586-322-9727. And, it's not that I don't want to go farther with you, Beth, but, I want you to just be aware that, this is, it's really, there's so many different things to share with you. So, I would prefer to do that on a personal, private basis,
That's cool, right, Beth?
Yeah, really.
Hey,
Oh, thank you.
Beth,
All right.
I
So I'm
know.
going to gently remove my hands, Beth. Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Beth, I know the panic attacks, they're no joke.
Absolutely.
So get in touch with Laura. And I appreciate your call, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Yes,
calling.
thank you.
Have a great day.
So, Laura, why what did I feel in uh the left the left part of my left hand?
Mhm.
Could some of the energy somehow gotten to me for some reason?
No, well, what I would say, is that in that moment, because, like I do regular trainings. This past weekend, we just did one. And when you're in that space, and you were clearly willing, your body was willing, you had
Well,
already
see, I
had,
believe it.
right?
I know it's true. I've seen it work.
Exactly. So I would say that you have some level of sensitivity to that, right?
Okay.
So, your body was probably picking up on some of the words and the energy. See, here we go again,
Okay, you're bringing it back. I got you.
right? So, you're picking up on that, and, that's where it becomes, and, this is how we become, compassionate listeners, is, this space of energy and presence and being with somebody. you know, I could sit right next to you, you would feel me from here. Do you know what
That's
I mean?
awesome.
It's
Yeah.
just that being present with somebody,
Yeah.
So why do we do this? And like I said before, clearly somebody with anxiety, I can tell you that, I had an experience not so long ago that, I'm calling up my friends going, oh my God, could you just hold my heart? Because I got a little babooped that is like, was shocked. And, sure enough, I mean, I have this friend in another state that's going, okay, I got you, I feel you. Okay. And
Uh,
there we go. And
were you were you just doing Reiki, Laura? Is that what you were doing, or you were just doing energy healing?
I wasn't even really doing energy healing or Reiki. What I was doing was just
Wanna-
connecting with a person. Right. There isn't a word for that, right?
okay,
It's not a modality. It's creating connection and
okay,
being able to reach through the ethers, so to speak, right? To reach a person and let them know that your presence is there. The same way that, like I said, a boat can create a wake, our thoughts can create that wake until it reaches you.
okay.
And when it reaches you, then you're like, oh wow, okay, I noticed warmth on my right shoulder.
Yeah, yeah, and
Beth
you got to
notices
be
it.
receptive to it. You got to just be open to it. Hey,
Yeah,
Mr. Producer's got he's telling me he's got a bunch of the instant feedback here, so people want to ask you
awesome.
questions. So, Mr. Producer, what do you got for Laura Fluke?
We have Marie in Boston wants to know, could we give off negative energy to others around us without even knowing it?
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if I'm in a peed off mood and I walk into a store, I'm going to look grumpy, I'm going to feel grumpy, right? If I'm having a great day and I walk in and I'm cheery and I'm something, that's noticeable too, because you know what I mean? So yes, it's not that woojy aura, but you kind of exude what you're feeling today. And it's just what's around you. This is where we help to regulate that energy so that maybe you're not. Maybe your nervous system is in a more balanced state.
Laura, would that be the same as? And I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about, and if you don't, um, the description will bring you there. But like an energy vampire, everyone knows someone that you talk to just drains you
Yes.
without you just feel you can tell that someone is
Yes.
just draining you, right? Is that kind of the same thing that this is?
And I'll share with you. I mean, we've talked about a little bit about my history. I mean, I used to be a 250-pound suicidal depressed cutter. So, I wasn't stable, right? So I had Swiss cheese everywhere in my body, that my energy was drained. I couldn't contain my own self, my own being. So when I found somebody that, was stable, or they were healthy, or they were something, I was the energy vampire.
Oh,
So I understand that, to where now we get to a point where, a person's trying to find stability, a person's trying to maybe find safety. Maybe they feel love from that person. Maybe they feel nurture from, maybe there's something that they feel from that person. Now they're going, oh my God, it's there. Oh, okay, even for the moment, and when they have to leave, I know that was my experience, is that, when I'm having to prepare to leave from that connection, it's hard, because you're like going, I was getting nourishment from that, and they weren't giving me, I wasn't asking them permission. That's where it becomes the vampire-y nature that we use, right? Because I'm not asking permission to do that.
right.
You notice that as we move through with you, as we talked with Beth, may I have permission to connect with your body,
Yep.
to connect with your spirit.
First thing.
First thing, right? That's the difference between, an energy vampire, and someone who has boundaries and is healthy enough to kind of go, okay, now let's move and proceed that
See,
way.
just like you asked your friend, you said, "I hold my heart,"
Yeah.
and so you asked, and so that's that we're aware of what's going on. I guess the vampires, they just suck it out of you without even asking, and
Yeah.
that's bad.
Yeah. And it's a hard place to be in that position, because you don't have this thing. So you're trying to find it somewhere, and you find it, it's like,
Yeah.
right? You're just trying to take in as much as you possibly can. And I wouldn't say that it's an intentional thing. I can say that I didn't know that I was doing that
Mhm.
until it was brought to my attention, like going, dude, you're way too much, dude.
I got you. Mr. Producer, can we do we have time? Can we do one more? Okay, we'll do one more question here. I'm sorry I don't get to everybody here, and I'm sorry I can't read that. It's just too far away. I need glasses. Anyway, Mr. Producer, you got a question for Laura Fluke.
Adriana in Port Jefferson wants to know, what can we do to
Hey,
clear negative energy from our home?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a great question. So
that's a real
some
thing.
people, yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. Yes. One of the easiest ways if you're in a space or a place to open up your windows and there's many different places in most communities that sell sage.
So I heard, yeah, sage.
Sage or Palo Santo. These are natural herbs that have properties in them that will, in the physical world, they'll take up the negative ions in the atmosphere. Okay. So there's a little bit of a physics kind of standpoint with that, I suppose you could say.
Oh,
But then, just, with your intention and I use a sage stick and I use a feather and I go around each room and I go into, go open up all the windows and I kind of go around the perimeter of the room with the sage burning and I'm mimicking with a feather and just pushing that sage smoke out the window. And that's all you need to do.
are you
I
talking
mean,
about like an incense? Sage
yeah,
incense? Is that okay?
it's the, the smoke will help clear the air. And they're going into it with intent, also going, I choose to release any negative energy in my home.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't have to be weird. I mean, you're just
Not
offering,
weird.
right, so you're just saying, okay, I don't want this energy in my room, in my house. I mean, then with some of my more advanced training, I've actually done house clearings and, from some really unhealthy energy in the house and then
Really?
turned around in the same day, in that same time frame and have blessed the house. I have a shamanic practitioner background.
We got to do a show on that. We got to talk about that
Yeah, and
next
and
time.
and as I've mentioned before, I'm also a licensed and ordained Christian minister. So, one part of
I
me
know
had to
you do
go
a lot of stuff.
clear
I
the
know.
air, right? And then the other part of me brought in the healthy stuff. So, you know, there's a lot to this.
Why a feather?
Um, like in the shamanic practices, they just use that as a way to go and move
Okay.
the smoke and move the
It's
healing.
a
I got,
tradition type thing.
yeah, it's just, ceremonial tradition.
Okay. Par for the
Yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hey guys, I've been speaking with Laura Fluke, and I appreciate everyone who called, everyone who wrote in. I'm
Yes.
sorry I didn't get to everybody, but I will save these and we'll get to them next time. But Laura, let me give you the last word here. Really interesting and great show. But let me give you the last word. Anything you want us to leave us with, or let us know, and then let us know how to get a hold of you once again, please.
Absolutely. So, I mean, and I echo the same feelings. Is that if there are questions that anyone has, I mean, please, by all means, go to thequietroom808.com. There is a way to email me questions there. The Quiet Room is also on Facebook. So if you want to reach me through there, you can try to do that. And then my cell phone number is 586-322-9727. And yeah, I would love to hear more questions. So I know what people are wondering about. I would love to be able to open this conversation so that, these are new practices and new thoughts coming to us, right? We're used to a standard, maybe Midwestern way, at least that's where I'm from, I'm as white bread as it gets. But I mean, when my world had to expand because life required it, I started seeing the beauty of a lot of different things, and it just made my life richer. And I just have so many little nuggets. I often say I don't know anything, but I've learned a whole lot. And I would love to share that because I think we're at a point, as we're transitioning from really goofy world events to, okay, now we know what we're dealing with, to now, okay, let's do life again.
Yeah.
We need new tools, new skill sets as to how to do that. And I would just love to start introducing some new things to folks to kind of go, wow, I didn't know this stuff existed and I didn't know how supportive that could be.
Great.
So
Well said. Guys, the one and only Laura Fluke. Laura, thank you so much. Can't
thanks
wait
so
to
much,
hear what
Casey.
you have to say next. And guys, we'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.